Hello everyone, this is Taylor with Rural Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the Arkansas River's only Orvis endorsed outfitter and oldest fly fishing outfitter on the Arkansas. Thanks so much for viewing today. Today is the 24th of March and we're really moving through the early spring fishing into prime spring conditions and fishing on the Arkansas River from Canyon City all the way through Salida into the upper Arkansas as well. Uh, Basically, the driving force of the great fishing here in late March and early April is the blue-winged olive hatch. And right now we're seeing some very, very strong blue-winged olive hatches in the afternoon almost every day. So you could say we are on kind of in the thick of the hatch in lower Bighorn Sheep Canyon. There's also some good localized activity from Coaldale upstream, but not really the strong hatches we're experiencing in Canyon City and lower Bighorn Sheep Canyon. Right now we're kind of seeing that Coaldale area in the upper Bighorn Sheep Canyon area, the cutoff point as far as warmer water temperatures and seeing that carry over into the full life cycle of the blue-winged olive. So basically, look for that stronger activity in lower Bighorn Sheep Canyon, Canyon City itself, and like I said, great nymphing for with BWO nymphs as well as stoneflies, free swimming caddis larvae. The Rhacophylla caddis larva is very present in the substrate, along with continuation of midge larvae, etc. Really what we're focusing on as far as what our guides are kind of focusing on throughout the day is nymphing heavily in the morning, looking for emergent BWO activity around that 11 o'clock to noon time period, and heavier emergent activity through the early afternoon, followed by heavy adult activity in the mid-afternoon to late afternoon, and a continuation of good surface film and subsurface activity into the evening, along with potential continuing hatches. So a lot of great fishing out there right now. Typically our guides are running triple nymph rigs, western rigs, with a stonefly up front, kind of as your lead, a tractor fly, also wait to get your rig down, followed by a free swimming caddis larva, followed by a BWO nymph or a merger, depending on the time of day. Obviously, you can adjust your rig depth based on where you see fish feeding. If they're on emergers, mid-water column, you can adjust that depth, weight, whatever is conducive to the conditions that you're experiencing on the given section. Obviously, the Arkansas is a big river, a lot of different sections on this river, so the BWO activity can vary throughout Bighorn Sheep Canyon, especially, which is 60 miles long, and as you go up, obviously, different stuff going on upstream and different timing for the BWO activity as you move upstream. So a little bit about flows. Right now, we're essentially experiencing native flows. Our contributing tailwaters are matching inflow as far as what's coming into Twin Lakes, Clear Creek Reservoir. They're matching that outflow. So native there, as well as native from the headwater, obviously. So right now we're sitting at about 280 CFS in Bighorn Sheep Canyon. So very low, not really great floating conditions right now. I mean, you can float, but you're spooking more fish from the boat than you are catching typically. So, waiting is definitely the best scenario. Right now, as easy as you can get for waiting. Typically we like flows to be in the 400 to 500 CFS range. which potentially we may see here in April, depending on what snow we get in the next few weeks. Obviously, the Front Range got a pretty good snow here the last couple of days. However, we haven't seen a good snow for months. We received 0 snow on the lower Arkansas Basin in this storm yesterday, and it's looking like very minimal forecasted snowfall in the coming weeks. Snowpack is holding at about 90% right now of average, and we've got some heavy wind weeks and really a full month of heavy wind coming up, as is typical. That heavy wind in the upper elevations, not so much heavy wind in the lower elevations, but heavier wind in the upper elevations can burn snowpack pretty quickly. So, looking like a more average water year or sub-average water year as far as runoff is concerned. That's kind of what we're looking at as far as flows and snowpack report. Like I said, hopefully we receive some pretty good snows in the high country. We always, in the next couple weeks, we always like to see average snowpack, 100% of average by the time we get through April. That's just the best case scenario for recreational opportunities for the fishery, etc. Like I said, right now we're sitting about 90%. Let's take a look at rigging. Like I said, triple nymph rigs in the morning, so let's start there. Take a peek at a couple of stonefly patterns that we like. The stoneflies are still molting and will continue to molt through the month of March, so we're fishing a little bit lighter stuff in the morning, a bit darker stuff in the afternoon, really a variety of sizes. We're starting to see good productivity on rubber leg stones as well, which wasn't so much the case in early March, but now that water temperatures are becoming more consistent, we're starting to see fish move on those rubber legs, become a little bit more aggressive. Let's start with the golden stone patterns for and the lighter coloration in the morning. So the Ken Morsh's Iron Sally is a fantastic fly. We fished that through the summer, but that's a size 12. Really like that pattern right now for a golden stone rendition. John Barr's Hair Copper, which is a newer pattern, this has just been fishing very, very well here. That's in the gold wire, size 12. Into the darker patterns, like I said, the darker rubber legs, size 10 through 14, really going to be a good pattern for you. I showed this pattern on the last report. It's been a breadwinner for us, is the new Anatome in the larger size with the dark hare's ear body. Great fly. And then another great dark stonefly is the dark rubber leg copper john, which has the black and green body. That's been a really nice pattern. Nice hook on it, nice hook gap. Like I said, running a free swimming caddis larva in the middle, the Rhacophylla. We carry a great rendition, which is the weaved caddis larva. That's a great fly, very, very natural. A couple of tractor style patterns that do great for the free swimming caddis larva. Number 1, the Psycho Prince with the caddis green color. And number 2, revisiting that hair copper pattern, except in a size 14 and 16 with the chartreuse wire body. Great fly. Also doing well on chartreuse wire Psycho Princes. Those have been really, really productive as well. For your third fly, like I said, focusing on the BWO, we are seeing a transition from some of the darker patterns into more light olive patterns. So the crystal hunchback here in the last few days has been a really good fly, size 18 and 20. The radiation Baetis Shag Uncle's pattern has been a great fly, size 16 and 18 on that one. Glyman's KGB in the darker color, another great pattern, size 16, 18. And then the 2-bit hooker in olive and black. Those have both been just mainstay breadwinner patterns for us. Like I said, really want to focus on that BWO life cycle. So as we move from the nymph and you start to see that nymph drifting through the water column, through the substrate, you will begin to see that the wing case pop on that nymph, and the bug will begin to emerge. So right around 45-degree water temp, we typically see a lot of fish on emergent BWOs, in which case we typically, shorten our rigs a little bit, nymph-wise, or maybe even go dry dropper. That's been fairly successful. And then focus on that emerger. My number one emerger is Shag Uncle's Shot Glass Blue Dun emerger. It's been a fantastic fly, size 18. CDC Loopwing has really turned on in the last 2 or 3 days. Great fly. And then a continuation of just being a breadwinner pattern, the Batwing emerger in the size 18 and 20. And then as far as the BWO dry is concerned, and like I said, we've seen substantial hatches in Lower Bighorn Sheep Canyon as well as Canyon City over the last really 4 to 5 days. Pretty localized hatches before that, and pretty localized hatches still from Coaldale up. But the adult pattern, I like that flag style Film Critic, Bob Quigley's pattern. Larry Kingery, one of our guides here, a commercial designer for Umpqua, his Wild Turkey Baetis, size 18-20, darker body. And then a new pattern, which is just going to be a great fly, and in a specialty hook, size 19 and 17, Ken Morsh's Mayday. That's a great fly. Has been very productive thus far. All of these patterns I've showed you here, and the nymphs and the dries and emergers, you can purchase online. Every single pattern we have in the bins here is available online at royalgorgeanglers.com. Did want to focus also on streamers. With the increased water temperatures, we are seeing fish very aggressive, and especially the rainbow population coming out of the spawn, continuing to spawn a little bit. And the brown trout population, we've caught a lot of nice fish on streamers as of late. So running something like a kiwi conehead muddler, or again, kind of in the more bait fish imitation, the clone, which has a stinger hook. That's a great fly. That's the clone there. We've done really well on dark brown patterns also, like the Dirty Hippie in that plat brown color. That's a new color. And then we're going tandem. We're running a trailer streamer underneath something bigger, like I've showed you already. Thin Mint's been a fantastic small fly to run. And then, always keeping both colors of Rick Takahashi's mini minnow. That's the rainbow. And then we've got the brown trout rendition also. Running those as trailers, doing a lot better on tandem rig stuff. Some of our guides are running dead drifted streamer rigs under indicators as well and doing well. There's one fly in particular that's a new fly from Umpqua, the thin mint rendition of the thin mint called the junior mint. We have these in small sizes, tied on a jig hook. We've been doing well running that under an indicator or even something like a slump buster, and then running the junior mint underneath in a dead drift scenario. Especially in the morning, we've done well on that. Basically presenting like a nymph rig, dead drift, dead drift, dead drift, and then letting it swing with that jig head. A lot of movement on the swing as well, catching fish there. So a lot of different rigs there for you to think about. If you do have any questions about anything I've covered, please don't hesitate to give us a call, toll free 888-994-6743. We'd be happy to answer any questions for you. We do have some availability left for April. Obviously, April is one of the prime time months on the Arkansas River, with a continuation of great BWO activity as well as caddis activity starting up the second week of April. So really prime time on this river, but we do have some guide availability. So if you are interested in learning the river for the first time, or learning it better, or just going out and catching a bunch of fish with one of our very experienced guides, don't hesitate to call us, toll free 888-994-6743, or you can book online at royalgorgeanglers.com. We have a live activity pane where you can see all of our guided trip options, book online, or send us an email, www.royalgorgeanglers.com or info@royalgorgeanglers.com. Again, it's been my pleasure to talk to you here. We hope to see you in the fly shop soon. Like I said, great spring fishing on the Arkansas. We've got some great weather headed our way. Today being the 24th, we're expected to have highs in the 60s. No snow on the ground here. It's quite tropical as compared to the rest of the state, which is typical. We are in the banana belt. And then a continuation of that weather into next week. So we hope to see you down here for the great BWO activity we're experiencing currently. Thanks so much. Have a great day on the water.